Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Chantele. And we're here to talk about the finale of Survivor South Africa. Wow, we made it.
Pew! We did. What an incredible season. I know we've talked about it every week, but we have loved it. So excited to talk about this finale with you, Chantele. But first, if you're new to this channel, please click subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. Wow, we did it, y'alls.
We
Wait,
did
we
it,
did
and it
nothing
wasn't
except watch and talk.
It wasn't a slog. It was really it was very entertaining the whole way. There wasn't one episode where I was like, oh, this is a dud. Like maybe there's less woo crazy blindsides or whatever, but I was thoroughly entertained by this cast of characters all along the way. Even when we, at the very end, when we go back and look at the first boots, and I was like, oh my God, that was an awesome person, awesome character. Like they really did an amazing job casting. And I'm really excited to talk to this final episode. I thought it was great.
Yeah, this cast was legendary. They were fantastic from the get-go. So much fun. And as this is my first South African season, and I am now in love with Nico. I enjoyed him so much. I felt like just overall really a wonderful, franchise version of Survivor. Really enjoyed it. Let's break it down because it did not end in a way that we have been predicting.
This was probably
over any of the weeks.
Last thought.
Yeah.
This was my last thought. I just
did not see this coming, but nope. I mean, honestly, congrats to Nicole. I will go ahead and say it. Fantastic. So excited for her. So let's break it down and see how she got there. Well, top of this episode, Nicole and Anela are basically saying we have 66% odds are in their favor, right?
Absolutely.
Either one of them wins. We know how it goes.
Yeah, and I mean, this is what Chappies was trying to avoid to a certain extent. Like, not that Tyson was going to take him to the end necessarily, but there was a likelihood that he would take him over Nicole at the end. And so Chappies was increasing his odds of getting to the end by switching his votes in the previous tribal council. So, I mean, you know that was going to be happening. There's two of them. There's one of Chappies. They are going to be working together, hopefully, and trying to take out Chappies, see if they can do it.
Right. And I mean, that is the story we've seen for weeks, trying to take out Chappies. And he just keeps winning and keeps winning. But whenever he doesn't win, would be his exit. So that's what we're looking for here. And honestly, we get right into it really, really quick. They are doing their final immunity challenge. They have to stand on the little tiny pegs and hold the centerpiece. And as they were setting up, I said, oh, Nicole's feet are probably the tiniest.
And she's the lightest as well. So,
and I also was watching their arc over, right? Because they have to lean to touch the center thing. And it did not seem that anything was adjusted for height. So whereas Nicole, being on the short side, could not reach that stupid key and did it 1,000 times. This time, though, she did not have to hunch over as much as the guys did.
So, basically,
I think that makes the difference.
Them not adjusting for size won her the game. Pretty much. Because
sure helped.
If it definitely helped. Women definitely also have a lower center of gravity, so it is easier for her to balance. She does have smaller feet, so she's going to be able to stabilize herself a little bit better. And yes, like you said, she's not going to be hunched over as much. And so I'm wondering if she had the same kind of hunchingness that she'd have to go through, and if the peg was proportionately smaller, like it would have been for the men, if she would have had a little bit more difficulty.
That sounds awful. I mean, I'm glad they didn't do that.
No. But
so it takes about an hour before Anela is our first to drop out. And he obviously does not want to fall, but he's pleased that he made it an hour.
Yeah,
it's a personal best.
I was surprised that he made it an hour because he didn't look stable from the beginning. He's a little heavier, it seems, a lot more muscle.
He was
his feet looked like they hurt.
Oh, it hurts to watch this one. Yeah, for sure. Chappies is trying to do some mind games here. I do love when people do mind games and they're like, I'm feeling great. be up here for days. God, this is so important to me. I ain't going nowhere. Like, I love that kind of stuff. And Nicole was like, oh God, this hurts. This hurts. And usually if you're telling yourself the negative, the person talking positive usually can outlast.
Right.
But not this time.
I was like, I mean, I knew what was going to happen. Because as we talked about before we went live, we both end up getting spoiled. So I was just kind of waiting for everything to happen. And I was just still really sad that it did. I was like, man, like, he really tried really hard and it didn't settle. I was like, what happened? What happened? It just like, he was up and then he was down and
I mean, you know, it's sad because you know that's it, right?
Yeah.
They're just waiting for Chappies to lose, and he has not lost in so long. But here he does. He falls. I mean, he says that he blacked out. Like, he just was there until he was no longer there. And I believe it. Like, he was not going anywhere until his body just absolutely fell over. So he is emotional here. And, you know, I feel for him. He has played an incredible physical game, but you know that your time has come.
He knew it. They knew it. It was pretty much a done deal. But Jocelyn was mentioning Survivor South Africa and Australia, and they do that a very similar one. And it's like literally they're doing it in like the sun is setting and the waves are crashing up on the side, and like the waves are getting higher and higher as the sun's setting, and like covered in water. Like so, yeah.
Wow.
Even taking it up
they're
to the next
getting knocked with waves. It's not like still water. Oh my!
Waves, yeah,
that makes it totally.
Especially as the
different.
tide was coming in, like waves are getting bigger and higher. Like they're wet and they're shivering and they're out there cold and they're like, yeah, it was a little higher intensity there.
Wow,
so this was easy peasy in comparison.
Yeah, you just like step off and you're on some ground, nothing knocking you over. Well, congratulations to Nicole for this immunity win. I mean, she obviously was in pain too. She stuck it out. She did what she had to do to basically take herself to the finals. And that's amazing because she was going to the finals anyway. Both guys were going to
somebody
her,
is way better.
Way better. She gets to make this choice. She takes herself there. And I think that plays heavily in how the rest of this episode goes.
Absolutely. I mean, you never want to be the one that's dragged to the end ever, unless you're Chappies and it's like, yeah, you want to be dragged to the end. But anybody else, exactly.
Big brother Derek.
Yeah, no, I knew who you meant. Okay. But yeah, anybody else though, like if you're taking like you want to be the taker and you choosing your own fate, you're more likely to win in that scenario because it's like you've decided how to set yourself up for the best chance for you to win. So
yeah. Well, Chappies isn't done playing though. He may see the exit sign ahead, but he's got a couple things he's going to try with Nicole. And I love this attempt. And I was like, are these lies? Because this was stuff not in the edit. So he does say, you know, he talked to Nessu and she gave me some info. But I don't know if that info was accurate.
And like how he was giving it out, he wasn't laying it on too thick. He's just kind of like, you know, well, you figured out who I went and spoke to at the, you know, having breakfast with. It was, she's like, Nessu. And she's like, yeah. And like, she was saying that like, you know, whatever, he had these votes locked in or whatever he had said. And it was like how he delivered it didn't seem out of desperation. And so,
that's true.
I liked it. I liked it. I mean, I didn't think it was going to work, but I liked it.
Yeah, I agree. You're right. Because he wasn't like, she made it clear I'm losing. He wasn't like that. He was like, you know, yeah, I think that, you know, Anella has a really good case to win. Like he is hyping that up a little bit, but he didn't downplay him completely. He did say, I think he lied a bit about how they all are so mad at me for stealing food, which is not what Nessu said. That we know. But the whole Sean is really rooting for Anella. I wasn't sure that was a lie. Turns out I don't think that was a lie because later Later, we get confirmation that Inesu probably did say that. But yeah, good on Chappies. You got to play the game until you're out. I appreciate it. And Anella sort of went a different way where he was like, you do what you got to do, girl.
Yeah, I mean, he was definitely playing on her heartstrings and kind of like using kind of an emotional tactic to get her to feel her way to taking her to the end.
Yeah.
Which was fine, but later on in this episode, I realized that I didn't enjoy Anella's tactics to sway. So this was the first taste of it. I was like, okay, I see what you're doing here. And he wanted to just like let her leave it, and then he's going to come back to it a little bit later. I didn't particularly enjoy how he comes back to it later, but.
Well, we do see Nicole in the sand with a stick. It looks like she's counting votes. And I appreciated seeing that, but I was like, Nicole, there is no question what you have to do here. In my opinion, at this point, I'm like, you do not take Chappies to the end.
No.
He is a fan favorite. He played an amazing physical game. You do not risk it. Sure, maybe they're mad at him. Maybe that's a possibility, but not worth the risk.
And he has a lot of friends in the jury, too.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. Were you thinking similarly? Yeah.
Oh no, of course. You have to take for the first part, like being that they were from original Zamba, they're from the beginning. She's even saying that her and Anella have aligned destinies, and like so that alone, I felt that like she needed to take him to the end and take her chances beating him, because she wouldn't be sharing, like she might be sharing votes with him, but it'd be easier for her to win, I think, against Anella. Even if it was split, I think she'd have more, like even Chappies would vote for her probably,
Right. And I mean, honestly, the last information we got was from Inesu saying Nicole gets 0 votes. And I did feel like Nicole had won a couple comps, but also Anella had fumbled a little bit. So like, I didn't think that Nicole hands down beats Anella. Like, I'm not sure how this goes. Just a better risk than going with Chappies.
Well, I was thinking, because they're calling her like, oh, the queen, she slayed the king, what do they call him? The queen of the challenges dethroned the king of the challenges. And so that is just so flashy. Like people are just, I think when Inesu was saying that to Chappies, it's kind of like they're expecting her to be taken to the end by one of these two men. And so in that position, I think that that's a 0 vote position. But I don't think that they were expecting Nicole to be the one that was choosing her fate in this situation. And that wasn't even something that crossed Inesu's mind. And so I think that that's why they're saying 0 votes. They weren't even thinking that she would be taking anybody.
That makes sense. Yeah, now she's the Chappies Slayer. So wear that with pride. All right, let's go into this tribal here with the 3 of them. Chappies does get to have an emotional speech. He does get to talk about his journey whenever somebody gets the edit of their emotional journey speech, a la the Biscuit, Elaine.
Yeah,
I mean, we've seen it. You know that this is their time to go. They're not going to get it at the finale. But I did love that he talked about dreaming big, and he said a quote, "Aim for the stars and land on the moon." I like wrote that down real quick. I was like, I will live by this. I'm going to crochet this into a pillow. This is amazing, Chappies. I love it.
I love it. And then I think it was in the same tribal, Anella copies the same thing, but he doesn't do it as well. He said something about like, I want to aim for the stars, and then he said something. It wasn't as eloquent, and I guess I find that Chappies is a little bit more of a likable personality than I was finding Anella. But like, I was like, you can't just use his same quote and then not use it even well. And he's going home. Like, what are you doing, Anella? No,
I didn't even notice that. But I mean, Chappies is a little over dramatic, but gosh, it's just so great on a show like this. And I was like, yes, I love this sentiment. And good for him because this is going to be the moment that he leaves. But Nicole does start to reveal the information that Chappies gave her about the jury. And I was like, oh God, were they lies? Like, I don't know. I was so nervous in this moment.
I was nervous too. I was like, why are you saying this? Like, if it's wrong, like, it doesn't necessarily look good on Nicole that she was like deceived by wrong information. You know what I mean? So I was like, don't share that in case like that was just his tactic, Nicole. Just shh. But it didn't have an outcome. Nothing came of it.
I've literally never heard that, but
I
it makes
have heard
sense.
it before.
Okay. It absolutely makes sense that it would be common, but I've never heard it, so I love it. Okay, well, it's in my world now. Yeah.
I thought it was cute though when Chappies was kind of pitching to Nicole when he's like, "I would love to have breakfast with you tomorrow."
Yeah. That was like a awkward setup from Nico. He's like, "Here you go. Anything else to say?" And they're both kind of like, "Well, we already remember what I said. Remember? How about that?" Yeah. Not much else you can say publicly at that point. But so Nicole is going to go to the urn and write down Chappie's name, looking like she was still contemplating.
It's just for show. It had to have been.
That's set up by a producer. And so
this giant urn for her one vote.
Yeah.
So big.
Why don't they do it like Big Brother, where you just stand up and say?
That's what I was expecting for some reason. I don't even know why. I think have they? Oh, you know what? Maybe we haven't had this final two in a while.
That's true. We haven't had. It's been a while in the U.S.
So like we're just.
But I don't think Survivor ever. I don't think Survivor ever did it, or at least I don't remember Survivor doing it that way. It's just Big Brother. But if it's one vote, like why make the person walk all the way up there, write it in the urn?
To reveal
Nico
it?
has to go get the urn, come down, and then we go through all this. When make the person stand up and do it to your face.
Yes. Maybe Nico wants the moment though.
Yeah.
I was dying though when Chappies brought the coconuts to give to Nicole and Anella.
Such a good moment. He's such a showman. I love it.
Yeah, no, he's really great. I mean, I don't like this outcome obviously for him, but he really made me feel okay with him not winning the game. And that's something like, like sometimes where like, you're really like, they have to win. And you kind of like, are just like not happy with the outcome. Like the way that he handled Nicole not keeping him at this moment, like was just so graciously. And I was just like, and he was just so happy to be there. And the journey was like, so amazing for him that it made me okay with how everything went down, which I feel
like that with this whole cast. I feel like this whole cast handled everything so well because we lost people that we thought could win for weeks. We lost Anesu, we lost Kieran, we lost like constantly Santini. Oh my God, we thought Santini was the winner for the majority of the season. And these people kept going, but they all had such great positivity and class and like supporting each other about it. And they were understanding about why they were taken out. I think that's just another reason this cast is so great.
I mean, I think it's they're all, or majority of them anyways, must be super fans because like, I can't remember when Anesu says it, but she's just is like, I gotta go out in a blind side. That's the only way to go out is in a blind side. And she was like, I felt like she was thrilled by the fact that she got good. Good.
Right. She did. Yeah. When you get played, you're like, oh, this is the game. Yeah.
Like, oh, should have known better.
Well, day 39, they are going to wake up Anella and Nicole, who have been aligned together for ever. So this is a good final two to see together, having their breakfast. Excited that they made it this far. Then we get our final tribal. First off, the star of the final tribal is Santini and her face.
I know. She does not like Anella at all.
No. And you can see it right here. This is,
No hiding it. Mm-mm.
I love it. I loved it so much. Now, I've definitely got highlights here to talk about.
Sure.
But I felt like overall in this tribal, there were far more questions for Anela than Nicole.
Yeah, what I felt is that nobody understood Anela's game, and they're like, "Well, what did you do?" And he didn't do a good job of explaining it. How I felt, and I guess this may be how they were feeling as well, was like, so what has he said? This is going to be a coaching masterclass. I was like, that's a little condescending. Okay. And then how he was kind of playing like the moves that he did. And he's like, I always had like 3 people and like this. And I was like, you're just kind of, it's convenient that you're making up a strategy for everything that you did when it's like you were lucky that things went this way. Other people wanted you in the game, so they saved you. It had nothing really to do with your game. Sean wanted you to stay. And so it was just, to me, it was just sounded like he was being a little bit condescending, that we weren't smart enough to realize that he didn't actually do anything really to warrant this win at this point.
Now, I thought Anela was super well spoken.
He spoke well, but I didn't like what he was saying.
Well, it's because it didn't make any sense. So
Is that it?
It's like someone who is a great speaker, but you're like, you just put fancy words on nothing, basically, right? You take like no substance and you put fancy words on it. And I don't mean that he had no substance whatsoever, but his coaching masterclass, he said he had to get the little things right. And I just want to make a joke that no one could see those little things.
It's too small.
So,
too small.
Where were the little things? We missed them. We don't. Whoops. He said freedom of expression, which I still did. I watched it twice and I was like, I still don't understand what you mean by that, but okay. Simplicity was the play with 3 people, which was basically aligned with 2 and have a shield in front of you, which I'm a big fan of shield games. Sure. Sounds good. And the third one is flexibility. And I was like, nope, that's just a pretty word. Good choice of word. But the rest of the people would call that flip-flopping. That's what they called it.
Flip-flopping
all season
is being flexible. If like the type of flexibility that you want is maybe pivoting. But flip-flopping isn't being flexible.
K Diggs, thank you for the super chat. I lived in one reality until K Diggs told us a new one last week. And then I was like, wait, what? And then that is where we landed.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Here we are.
K Diggs is also annoyed with listening to Anela. Yeah, it's just like he said, what is it? The term is like putting lipstick on a turd or lipstick on a pig. Like it's just like like
I was like, Anela did not say that.
No, but it's just like it's still a turd's a turd and a pig's a pig. Like you can't fool me with your flowery words here and think that I'm not smart enough to know that you did not play this masterful game. This masterclass worthy game. Like, well, I do not want to take this masterclass. This is a masterclass in losing.
The jury was so polite that I was like, I can't quite tell which way they're going, but the fact that they keep coming back to Anela to be like, but what did you do? But how did you get here? Like, what was your game? Made me think, no, they're not. They missed the little things. It was just too small.
All of them.
They couldn't find them. Nicole, I liked her little analogy in the beginning of like stepping outside of the line, taking her own steps. But I also, she said she played with integrity, honesty, reliability, and trust. Mm-hmm. And I felt like those were accurate statements. And she also brought up that she won herself there. No one brought her.
Yeah, the only woman that was ever to win an individual immunity.
Yeah. She talked about being in a position where she didn't have to go out and lie and backstab and do these other things. She was in a position where information could come to her, which I I don't think I hold any respect for that kind of play. So you just basically
Didn't
sat
do
back and
anything and
let
just like,
other
oh,
people.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I also did appreciate that she wasn't trying to convince us that she did some masterful, crazy stuff. Like she admitted, I didn't go do that stuff.
Well, exactly. And I think that that's what it seems like the jury was respecting, is the fact that she was honest in who she was. She had the same integrity from the beginning to the end. She didn't change it to make it seem like she did anything that she didn't do. And I think that the jury really respected that, and they could see her game, and she didn't lie about it, and she wasn't trying to fake
Right.
things and like basically say like, you don't know what game that I was playing, and then like lie to them and make them feel like they're stupid or something. So
Yeah.
I think they
I feel like
appreciated
a
it.
little self-awareness is very respectful. Like it's appreciated when you aren't trying to pitch me with a lot of fancy words that you did a bunch of stuff that you didn't actually do. Admit what you did. And like Antonio was pointing out, she brought Anella and she said it over and over again. And that she was like, no, don't worry about anything else, guys. Nothing else to say. He
I
wouldn't be
made
here
that
without
decision.
me.
Well,
Mhm.
and that wasn't even the first time too, because she won that, wasn't she tethered to him? Yeah. And
The
so
duo twist.
with that duos twist, which I was like, maybe don't bring that up, because like she did make that huge blunder with like Rainier. I thought that like I think Rainier might have brought up, I don't know, I can't remember how it went down. But
Right.
that whole scenario was her showing how bad she was at the game. So I was like, oh, don't really bring up that scenario, because like if you remember that correctly, you made the wrong
Right.
move there, but
Yeah.
it didn't matter.
Strategically the wrong move, but she's right. She won immunity that day and he was automatically saved. So the fact that she could say, I saved him twice, that's a nice little phrase there. And then she also brought up she was the only one who was willing to compete against Chappies in that water challenge. And I had forgotten that at this point, and I was like, that's right, girl. Don't let them forget that. She was like, all y'all sitting there eating pasta. I played against him. And I was like,
So that's
take
kind of
that.
like kind of gave me goosebumps, where it's like, she was his apprentice kind of thing. Like, Chappies is he's winning, and she's like, I could do it. I'm gonna try. I'm still gonna compete with you, Chappies, even though I know I'm gonna win. And then she goes and she beats Chappies in the end. So it's like the apprentice takes over the master.
Right. She's like, if I
like that
keep doing it
story.
enough times, I will take him down. And that is what she did. Okay, a couple of other highlights from when the jury gets to talk here. Rainier does try to, okay, Anella though, but how is your game different? What did you do? And this is when Nicole says she saved him on 2 occasions. Sure, he has good relationships, but she got him here.
I mean, if anybody, like if Chappies has won, he wouldn't have been sitting there. So like no matter what, that's a fact.
Yes.
Like Nicole was getting to the end no matter what, I would say. He could only get there with Nicole, through Nicole.
Right. Asher, thank you for the super chat. Oh, so when you saw her writing out the votes, you think she thought she could beat Chappies too? I don't know about that.
I think that's just editing. And it's like, can you just take a little while, just ponder this for a little bit? I think that they're
which U.S. winner is she most like? I don't know. Let's come back to that because I have got to think about that. Someone who's got a great physical game, but
would it
not
be like
so strategic. Wasn't making
Amanda?
the moves.
Maybe Amanda? Maybe? No, but Amanda didn't win.
No, she did not.
Did she win once? No, she came second twice. I can't remember.
Yep, sure did.
Would it be like, what's the blonde girl that lost to Russell Hantz? Natalie? I think it's Natalie, actually. I don't know.
I have to beat Russell.
Yeah, she won the season, didn't she?
Right. Yeah, she beat. Was that Natalie? Natalie White is the one that beat. Yeah. Oh God, it's so hard for my brain to work. Yes. Okay, good. I'm glad I didn't make a fool of myself. My brain doesn't always work. Okay. Santony, I'm going to make a statement. Your ego, you had a great move. Could have taken out Kieran. Your ego got in the way. And for that, I am not voting for you.
It's so true though. Like,
So true.
Yes, it took her out of the game, so like she's gonna be a little bit salty about it. But like the how of it all, she was pretty bang on. It's like you didn't like the fact that we were workshopping your idea, and it was you feel like it's all your idea now because like people just decided to help you make it a little bit better, and so you completely switched gears, took Sansony out, and like she just was like, "Is this such a bad move for you?" Because it's going to cost you my vote. And I loved how she said it. And I wonder how he felt about her saying that. Because, like,
well, he didn't love that he couldn't answer back. He was like, "Do I get to respond?" And she's like, "That was a statement." I was like, "That's not a question, Anella. Ain't nothing you can say about it now. It is what it is. You did it. We watched it. We said exactly that. So
didn't we
agree
say
with Santony.
It was a game losing decision? I think we said that.
We absolutely said it. And we said it was because of his ego. So I appreciate that he said he feels like it was being vulnerable. Later, he does say that. And that is his truth. But we watched it and we have a different truth. So it is a game losing.
Can we unpack that though? How is that vulnerability? Like the fact that I don't see. I can't even make it make sense. How is it vulnerability? Michelle Fitzgerald, she won some stuff.
She did. I can get on board with that. I'm a Michelle fan. I like Michelle.
Yeah. The only thing is though is that maybe. I wanted Aubrey to win though, because I'm trying to.
Aubrey
think of,
was too strategic. She's definitely different. I don't know. There might not be a. Oh yeah, no, I wanted Aubrey to win too. I see what you're saying. I feel like there's no one else like Nicole.
Yeah, because Michelle Fitzgerald's pretty close so far because she was pretty unassuming, beautiful when she was on the Beauty Tribe. If there was a Beauty Tribe, Nicole definitely would have been on it. She won some key competitions that like allowed her to get to the end. Yeah, and she was able to win the jury vote. So what was a split vote? Yeah, I think she lost by 1 by 1, if I'm not mistaken.
Michelle?
Mm-hmm.
We're still talking about Michelle? You asking me about votes? Good Lord. I definitely don't remember that. Yeah, maybe Jenna.
Jenna winning her immunity. Jenna Marasco. That's who I was thinking. When I said Jenna, I was thinking Jenna when I was saying the other girl.
Natalie?
No, the brunette Jenna? With poverty. But she never.
Oh, Amanda. Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Right. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I love this statement from Santony. Thank you. You're everything I needed on television. I love you, Santony. You're a queen. Okay. Sean similarly has a statement, but in the opposite way. He has mad love for Anella and will never stop defending him.
I also loved Anesu. Like how she speaks is just so beautiful, and like how she just phrases her words, and it's perfectly eloquent and so intelligent, and like I could just listen. We said this in the beginning too. We're just like, read to us, like read me the Bible, read me a phone book. It just I love listening to her, and she just has the best attitude. She's probably like the perfect, in my opinion, character for like Survivor. Like she's just like she's great. Sasha, there's a lot of people.
I feel like Anesu can take over the world. I feel like whatever she chooses to do, she's just gonna run it, and people love her. That's why her social game was legit from day one. You just want to talk to her and be around her. And then she had the smarts too, and she was building something against Kieran, but he got her first. I mean, all of that was just fantastic.
And also a competition beast as well. Like, she was definitely threatening. If she was in that final 3, her definitely taking on Nicole there and maybe winning out over her. So yeah, I think that she's just a very
Absolutely.
well-rounded Big Brother, sorry guys,
It's in the
Survivor
head.
player.
Yeah, she can
And
even turn into an eagle and fly over and affect the game in
exactly.
so many ways.
Yes, I would love to see her play again. I think she had a great experience, and so if there's ever an All Stars, like there's a lot of people in this cast I'd love to see again, but she's definitely up there
Right?
for me.
This half of this cast should be the all-star cast whenever that happens. Were there any other highlights here from this? Any points that you took or lowlights? Anything else here?
I feel like we kind of said it all.
Yeah, those were my notes. Again, I mean, at this point, I couldn't. It seemed like the jury was not loving Anella, but I actually went through the votes myself, just trying to figure out how the votes lie. And I thought Anella was getting way more votes. But
Um,
I think I was giving him the like benefit. Okay, I was like the benefit of the doubt. We definitely know he has Sean. I was like, maybe he has Rainier's because Rainier was against Nicole at that one time. I thought maybe Anesu, maybe because she had said no one votes for Nicole. I was like giving him those like benefit of the doubt votes.
I
But
really think it's the
was dead
Chappie
wrong.
Slayer. I think that
Mm-hmm.
is just so something that nobody ever expected her to do. They were not even putting that in the equation as being a possibility for her to be in that situation. And I think that just the sheer shock and surprise of that, it was just so in the jury's face. And it was just a powerful position for her to walk in with that necklace, make that decision, take out Chappies, who they just expected who was going to be winning this game.
Right.
And they expected her to be coming in the second place position here. And that was not what was happening. They just had to reward her. And on top of that, Anella wasn't speaking in a way that made me like him and want to vote for him. So I can imagine that people that played the game were probably feeling that as well.
Yeah. I agree completely. Asher, you probably have already left, but thank you for the super chats. I can't believe you actually picked Nicole to win. I've never picked a winner. I'm so bad at it. But also, Chappies hearts, Chappies hearts, heart Chappies. Okay, so yeah. Well, we get into this, we're talking to everyone, but let's jump to the votes here because Sean is literally the only vote for Anella. Everybody else. I just did not see this coming. Everyone voted for Nicole except for Sean.
Well, and at the end though, I had to rewind because I was like,
Yeah.
he got one vote though? Well, who's the one vote? And then I was like, oh, they didn't even show it in like the recap after. And I was like, oh yeah, right, Sean. But I guess if they didn't show Sean, so I just assumed it was him. But I was like, I was pretty impressed that she got all the votes, and it made me feel really good, to be honest.
Yeah, I again, while I was trying to figure out votes, I was like, which way do Tyson and Kieran go? I'm pretty sure they're going to vote together, but they tried to work with Anella. Does he get something from that? Or because Anella botched it up so much with them, do they not vote his way? And yeah, he just messed up. And honestly, I do think it comes down to that one horrible move.
Because like that one horrible move, right? Then he goes and tells them what he was going to do. And so it's like first you highlighting that you were about to make a game winning move and then you didn't do it. And then you did it because you're going to take me out. Like people are going to be bitter about that. Like it just, even if they forgive you or like let it go for a little bit, like they'll remember that. And Nicole didn't do that to them. Even if she did vote them out, like she kind of stuck with her word and she was reliable in that sense. She never, from what I can remember, flip-flopped. And I think that they are valuing that as being someone that was true to her word. Her integrity was there. When she said she was going to do something, she did it. And he didn't.
But his one pillar was flexibility, guys.
And vulnerability.
So when you go for a game-winning move, be flexible enough to completely shoot yourself in the foot and lose the game. I mean, wow.
And then tell the people that you're going to take out to show your vulnerability. Like, no, it shows your stupidity. I'm sorry, Anella. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Lipstick on a turd.
Oh. Yikes. Yikes. There was a fan favorite vote, which I didn't even know was happening. But they have a top 4. It's Rainier, Santony, Kieran, and Chappies. And obviously Chappies is gonna take that. Although
See,
I bet Santony gave him a run for his money.
this is also, I mean, I wanted Santony to win next to Chappies. Like, if Chappies was going to win the game, I wanted Santony to win the fan favorite. But I just love that the top 4 people were people that I can get down with. I can support that. Like, I was super happy that the fans of the show are on the same page as we are. I like that. I like where there's no disconnect with like what the fans like to what I'm really enjoying.
Right. I mean, Rainier went out a while ago, so I love that he was included because he was one of my faves. And then
Yes.
he just didn't get to last long enough. So, and obviously, I mean, I've said my love about Kieran. He is arguably one of the best players, out there.
He's so
And then of
cute.
course,
He's
Chappies and
cute,
so
all
cute. Oh my
fixed
God,
up.
everybody looked so good, all cleaned up and fed.
Fed and like Amy, like I'm like, whoa, she's like, I obviously I thought all the women were beautiful, but like she
They're
just looks
gorgeous.
stunning at the finale, like
Yes.
at the reunion part. I was like, wow,
Yes. I was like, "Oh my God, her
gorge.
blazer." I was like, "Girl, you look good." Nicole
Good.
looked killer too. I mean, everyone did. They all looked so good. The men were handsome. Chappies look good. Karen, Tyson, they all look good. Nella looked good.
And
They clean up
honestly,
nice.
you know that I was like a little bit frustrated with Tyson in the last few episodes, and like I was just like, because I was just like, just side with Chappies, side with them, and like figure it out together. You know what I mean? Like I get it though. Like you have somebody, like you want to have somebody that you can take out and have a focus. So like I get like his game, but I loved how it seems like bygones be bygones. I don't know if it's just because he didn't win, like, and that's why he's able
Right.
to like be nice with him and like kind of joke around with him, but it always warms my heart with these. I love these social experiments, these games, because it's a family that gets created no matter what, whether you guys like
Yeah.
each other in the game or not. You had a joint experience that's part of your life forever, and so I like that moment.
Yeah, they really did have such fun with each other, even after fighting with each other and I need respect from you and like all this stuff in the game. And then they're like hugging and goofing around with each other. I loved it. My God, seriously, Nicole acted like she was living her best life out there. She had the best auction you could imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Bubble bath. There was that reward that she won when she was like, I'm not even hungry. I mean, she did
Got
say
her
she was
pina
hungry.
colada.
She got her pina colada when she was like, I don't drink beer or whatever it was. Girl living it up. I mean, I've seen no other Survivor contestant be so spoiled before.
Yeah, she definitely, I mean, obviously they're starving and like all of those other Survivor things that she had to experience and go through, but she definitely got all the good perks. Like she got the great ones. Even the water park, like, yeah, we're saying like, who cares? But like,
Yeah.
it's still like fun. And she got fed at that water park too. And so, yeah, she got some good rewards. Absolutely. Some of the better ones.
Yeah. Megan, there were a few people who I was like, were these people in the cast?
Mike was with Carla in the very beginning on the Vuna tribe. And I don't know if he was a lawyer. No, he was like a marketing guy or something like that. And they took him out, which we thought he would win the game if he stayed longer, but he didn't really make an impression. Apparently.
I was like, yeah, there were a few people. I was like, I don't.
Keon?
Well, Keon, I knew who she was, even though she was not in the show. But that's how I knew who she was, because she was not in the show.
But like when the reunion came back and it was Keon and Mike on the screen, I was like, oh my God, yeah, I forgot about her. Like, yeah, right before jury. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, some of those early outs, you're like, wow, was this season? Oh my gosh.
2 months ago, I guess.
Yes, it has been. It's been a couple months. Well, I can't say enough good things about the season, Survivor South Africa in general. Again, I now am a Nico stan. I am all for ads. in a show.
Yeah, this was a big ad, with the what's it called, Wild Coast, West Coast, Wild Coast, where they like totally like it felt like they were dating, and they were just like
Yeah,
showing them
they're
like
at the
their
resort.
Instagram pics. Like, what's happening here?
They're like having couples massages together. I was like, wow, yeah, full on ad. Fresh, natural life food. I don't know. The Jeep, I don't know, all of the things, but
All the things.
yay, great. Pay those bills. Do it.
Did you laugh when Sansony gave the sweets to Tyson?
Yes, and I also laughed when they had extra security so that Chappies didn't steal the votes.
Yes.
Yes.
I also
Good
thought it was
jokes.
hilarious because remember how Anella was so mad at Chappies for stealing the sweets and stuff, and then we learned that he did take some of his candies. These
Yeah, Anella
people.
was not all like, I'll play by the rules. We saw him do some shady stuff. Come on
Mhm.
now. He's like, oh, did I steal some things? Oh, but it was Anella and Tyson who took half of Chappie's bag out. Is that what you're
Yeah.
talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
They stole whatever candy from him.
from his bag. But
Yeah.
Anella stole something from somewhere else that then Chappie's brought up. He was like, who was it that stole this? And Anella was like, I don't know. Anyway, there was plenty of stealing, you guys. Everyone was stealing. Oh, future life. Thank you. I'll never remember that. I don't know. That's okay. Yeah. Anything else, Chantele? Because there's just all I have to say is congrats, Nicole. Well
Mhm.
done. Congratulations to Chappies for hitting that record.
Oh, okay. One thing I just need to maybe have you explain to me because I couldn't follow. What was Tyson's rationale for not voting out Anella in that when Chappies gave him
Oh
the
my
out? I
gosh,
didn't understand
right?
that
No, no, it didn't
because it
make
was
sense.
okay.
It no, it didn't make I was like, "Oh, good." He was like, "Okay, this is great. He's gonna sum it up for us." And then I was like, "Wait, no, I'm not following
Because like
Tyson."
so the first part he was like, oh well, Chappies like lied to him and was just joking around with him about like
Right.
switching the vote. Okay, I was like, okay, so you thought that he was joking in that moment? Then you're like, oh no, that's not what he meant. Okay, so wait,
I think it
what?
does still come down to what we like last week. We are like, Anella must have told him, "I'm voting out Nicole. Let's vote out Nicole." I think it still came down to that because he was like, Anella and I did talk in this explanation at this finale. He was like, Chappie's joked around with me. Anella and I did talk. So he just went with Anella, I believe is what he ultimately was doing, but I still didn't quite understand what he was trying to explain to
I
us.
was like, just say that you made a mistake and you should have went with Chappies. Like Chappies wasn't duping you there, and take that risk. I would say, like,
Yeah. Well, I'm sure he means to. That's why he's like making this extra long
he's like,
explanation where he's like trying to make it. And he's like, no, no, no. So, what I did. So, it started the day before when Chappies and no, it's like, no, whoops.
you made a boo boo.
Joseph, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with all of us. I would have never watched Survivor South Africa if it weren't for the both of us.
Ah,
Yay!
that's so great. My mom too. She's like, yeah, I love watching it and watching it along with you too. She's like, yeah, she's like, I never would have watched it without you guys. So
Yo,
we're
fun.
doing it
Oh,
for the
that's so
people.
exciting. We're doing it for the people. I mean, I had never seen a South Africa version before, so I'm so excited that we were able to do that this year and squeeze it in with Big Brother.
And the week before American Survivor starts, it ends. Like I think it's perfect. Getting you back into
Perfect
this
timing.
Survivor blood.
Yes, it's got me in the mood. I'm ready for it. Unfortunately, I did not get to watch Survivor Australia this season, but I did see who won, and people are very excited about that. So I'm going to wash it out of my mind and now watch it in this fall and forget who won. But apparently it was great. So I will catch up on it at some point. You guys were so much fun to watch this with. We really appreciate you joining us every Saturday along for this journey. Thank you for giving us your thoughts on who you're rooting for. I really appreciate it. And Chantele, thank you.
New friend, hey.
Right? Now, Chantele and I, all we do all day is text and message about all of the shows that we watch.
I know I found another one of me.
Exactly. We don't agree on everything, but we're very similar. We love to talk about all of the strategy.
Yes.
It's so fun. So yes, welcome to the Nerdtainment community, Chantele,
Thanks for having
officially.
me.
I appreciate you being here. And if for some reason you guys aren't already following her, please do so.
Thanks.
Because she does 1,000 other shows.
Well, what I'm winding down though, which is like kind of exciting. I'm like, ooh, I'll have like a little bit of breather time, not doing like 5 shows a day or whatever. So yeah, I'm excited to
you don't have multiple shows that air every day.
Right? I was like, why did I say yes to this? But people in the chat were like, please. I was like, oh my gosh. Okay.
Boundaries.
I know. Boundaries. I'll learn for next summer, maybe, but I don't know what I feel like I'll have to do it next summer, like Love Island, or maybe they just won't have them both airing at the same time.
That would be nice, but that's not going to happen.
Wouldn't that be?
No. Well, we still have Circle together.
Yes.
So every Thursday, Chantele and I are going over the Circle, the first 2 episodes of each week. So make sure you're joining us for that, you guys. We will see you then and there. Have a wonderful weekend.
Bye.
Bye.